A lot of us don't speak on being overwhelmed by your business, right? And balancing the workload with the energy load. I call this proper energy management. I've learned the hard way many different times on as it pertains to leading people. I done learned the hard way coming into work or going into the office rather full belly or still digesting food, right? Ruminating about the day before, thinking about things I should have finished at the household and promised things that right? So I remember taking this energy into my spaces, and it wasn't until, it's not until something happens or you see something that make you aware, right, of your energy and how it's manifesting around you. For me, I was at organized the event, a nice size event, right? Maybe like over 75 people, a good event. And organizing this event, I come into the main space of the event. I didn't usually do this. I was focused on organizing it, making sure everybody else felt their value, the managers, right? The floor managers, the doormen, the hosts, right? The servers, the cooks. I wanted everybody to feel their value and didn't feel the pressure of me overlooking their shoulders and things of this nature. So I come into this space and I see everybody standing, right? In the mutra I like to do, hands on the waist, right? Creating a diamond mutra with their fingers. Male and female, they all standing up against these tables, right? And I didn't enjoy that scene. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, why are you standing like this? Are you right? And I understood that people were uh, prepared to work. They were also they were also good people, right? But I didn't like that. That's what they thought. I thought a work environment was, right? Right. I wanted them to be enjoying themselves, and so I stayed around. I only came in because staff was running late, so I wanted to make sure that everyone else was picking up and see where I can help out, right? And they didn't even need my help, so I walked in and started to walk out, and the manager said, "Could you stay?" I said, "Stay why?" Wow, the most insensitive question, because literally I wasn't aware of a lot. I wasn't aware that partially these people came for me. They didn't just come to enjoy themselves. They came to experience a certain frequency that I was giving off, right? And I wasn't aware that I done had over hundreds of events, and I wasn't even at most of them. I didn't enjoy most of them. Yeah. Right? And just because I was focused on everyone else enjoying themselves. So when she asked, "Could you stay?" and I said, "Why?" She said, "People enjoy seeing you. I think you should, speak with people. I think you should. She was trying to say, just enjoy yourself and let people know you're enjoying yourself. Like, right? You don't have to work right now. Everything's done. Right? You good. We good. Right? I was like, I felt that she had to say so much. So I began moving around, but I seen people's reaction. They did have a great time. They invited me on stage. They invited me on stage talking about thank him. He put this together. I never, because I don't do things for that. Right? I never did it for that. Yeah. So it was surprising, right, to see people so appreciative and actually, right. So nevertheless, I meditated on that and began to sought out to change the way I was leading and reinvest into myself. Personal growth is always going to lead to an increase in value. That's the only way you can increase your value, is to increase yourself, right? Um, It's only when the med student finish med school and go become a doctor is that they increase their value, right? They learn. They increase their value by increasing their growth. So I understood that I had to change my routines. And what was important was I noticed that I brought my working habits into my business, habits that I learned at work, right? I brought into the business, which was going into the office, right, and not having my prerequisite routines in place.
Creativity requires confidence, and confidence is a requirement for leadership. We know this matters in all areas of life, but especially as it pertains to business, because in business, you're required to be yourself, and you cannot be yourself if you don't have confidence in who you are, your capabilities, and what you can do and what you offer the marketplace. You can cultivate this confidence through mindset training and meditation that'll bring up your self awareness, okay, and bring you aware of your skills, attributes, abilities, and how they differ from your talents. I help entrepreneurs, leaders, and creators alike come to these conclusions, but also become the superheroes that they need to be. Shall you need this mindset training and meditation, be of no dismay. You're already here. Just like the video, make sure you share and comment any questions, comments, or concerns you may have. Shall we need to go further, feel free to click any links to reach my programs or to book a one-on-one with me.
A little loose when you run your own business, right? And I thought I was okay. I'm like, okay, I did what I had to do. Let me go in. You know, things start changing because the stakes are higher. You're paying people, the stakes are higher, right? Um, you know, you got projects and quotas to meet, the stakes are higher. So I had to focus more on myself. And I like to make sure entrepreneurs and other people in leadership positions aren't making the same mistakes, right? Aren't leading people to second guess their value, right? Because with that mindset, with that rigidness, I also began to look into my programs. Let me look into it. Because I already don't agree with it now. Let me look into it. What else don't I agree with? Right? Are people truly living in their value? Am I sharing the same confidence? Right? And I wasn't. Right? So I sort of had to find out why I wasn't. And the reason I wasn't sharing my traditions, my routines. I wasn't leading as a leader. I was leading like a boss. Right? And leaders teach more. Right? The boss don't care. They just want you to fit the quota. They just want to, right? Make sure you make sure you're accomplishing the task. The leader is okay with you making mistakes because they want you to learn. They want you to be efficient at being dependent on your own self because you're a more valuable person to the leader and to yourself, right? And I knew that I had to ask myself, what type of people do I want around me? And that was easy. I said, I want richer people. That's why I left them on their own because I'm not in a micromanaging, right? But I had to increase their value because sometimes we grow outside of things and they grew out of that vibe. It was time for them to walk in their entrepreneurial shoes, walk in leadership positions, walk in their value, right? Um, teaching them more, teaching them the things that I learned. So I want to ask, uh, your idea of a smooth day in the office, a smooth day in the shop. What does it look like?
My idea of a smooth day, uh, one that doesn't overbook. For one, sometimes it can get a little crazy when we dealing with walk-ins and appointments, and you know, as a business owner, I want everybody to get a haircut. So if I can't do it, you know, I got my guys, I got my whole barber team, and we try to disperse it smoothly. But a smooth day is if everybody gets a haircut and leaves happy, and also if I stay on time. I'm very punctual with a lot of things, and also I would say like a balance of energy. Like I might get a client with really exciting energy, and they super, talkative. Some people come in, chill. So it's a balance. But if I get too much of, one as opposed to the other, it might be an imbalance. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to keep a good balance and focus throughout the day. That's probably one of the hardest things.
Let me ask this. Do you have any routines in place to assess the energy in between energies? To assess your energy, right? On days that we may be overwhelmed or just knowing that we're dealing with different energies.
Right. Well, usually what does it for me is I just got to go to a quiet space. I might walk around, see a little bit of nature. Um, I feel like with a mix too many people in the room, and when a lot is going on, you got to kind of just go to a quiet place or somewhere relaxing. That's what does it for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You also said something I noticed. A lot of entrepreneurs probably don't have the privilege to say, which is when I'm getting overwhelmed, when it's too much money at the door, that may not be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that. I understand in being overwhelmed, right? As far as because a lot of us don't speak on being overwhelmed by your business, right? And balancing the workload with the energy load. I call this proper energy management, right? But the overwhelmness is real. Dealing with multiple energies is real, right? I got different decompression meditations that I use myself from dealing with different energies. I'm aware of people different energies, and I got to know my foundating energy, my energy. I have to remember it and remind myself of it because sometimes we carry people energies and think it's ours. Yep.
Right.
So we got to an ideal day, a little bit of a, a overwhelming day. What does a bad day look like in a workspace? If we can be
Bad day in
honest.
the workspace. I would say probably like picky clients, difficult clients. Some people got like a over understanding of what they really want when it really could be a lot more simple in a barber's eyes. But other than that, a difficult day, maybe one where I didn't wake up and sometimes I wake up like last minute because I live like very close by.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't get my my morning routine and my food, and I usually do like I dip my face in ice cold water. This is a wake up. If I don't get all my routines in,
Great
then
one.
it might be a little rocky day. But other than that, everything pretty much goes smooth.
How much time you think you need before the day start?
Before the day start, give it about an hour,
Mm.
maybe more. My day would be better if I had more, but I only have about an hour because I stay up pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta take my son to school early in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is an hour enough? Most
I
days?
think I could use more,
Mm-hmm.
but then it would take an hour off. You know, I'm pretty productive at night though, so
Okay.
a lot of people get their things done in the morning. They wake up early in the morning. I stay up late at night and do a lot of my tasks.
So your schedule is different.
Yeah,
Yeah, and productivity is different. You producing at night.
for sure.
That's good. Um, Being an artist, right? Confidence is indeed. I feel like that got to be part of your language with art, right? You agree?
For sure. If you don't believe in what you're doing, like when people come in here, they they're reading you. They're reading your whole even the way you comb,
Mm,
um, the way you put your cape on, everything. So confidence definitely speaks a lot
mm,
and barbering because if you're confident about your style, you know I'm pretty sure that you can put a good style on somebody else and make them confident. That's how I feel about it.
Were you always confident in your abilities?
Nah, not always. Well, it didn't take long for me to jump into that, knowing that I needed to act a certain way to get those clients. You know what I'm saying? Like my first barbershop, I faked it till I made it.
What you mean act a certain type of way? You can act confident. That's what you're saying?
But I didn't really have the skill to back that up. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, bro? I didn't have the skill to back that up, so I almost got fired knowing that I didn't have the skill, being overconfident. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Not having the skill to back up the confidence is important. Yeah, then you risk yourself at embarrassing yourself.
Exactly. Which happened, but they ended up keeping me because, you know, I worked super hard over that one weekend where they was about to let me go. And I ended up running with it.
Let me ask you, do you think overconfidence sometimes can be a good thing?
It can be.
If you're just starting off?
You just gotta have the skill to back it up, man. That's all.
Always.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Yeah.
Always. How do you find it easy or difficult attracting other confident partners and co-workers, or do you find it easier to translate this confidence? Like, do you attract other confident people? Do you share the same confidence?
Definitely. I'm glad you asked that because everybody that work here, I didn't look for them. Every time I went to look for a barber, it didn't work out well. So my whole team was curated one by one by people just coming around me as a friend, learning game and stuff, and eventually they became barbers. So I definitely feel like my confidence
translated
brings other people that are alike and other artists that are alike around me.
Mm-hmm. Do you see the people around you confidence also increasing? From when they start?
For sure, from the beginning to the end, everybody on my team has significant improvement, exponential improvement and growth as far as their skills and confidence.
Yeah, it's good to have that good confidence translating all around you, especially to the people around you. And I feel like at a certain point I made the mistake of not translating the confidence, right? And made people more confident in what they were doing versus who they are. I now want people to be confident in who they are, not just what they're doing, because what you're doing can change, right? What you're doing can change at any time. Oh yeah.